And we're live. Hey guys, this is Toya, and I'm so excited. My dear brother Zoe is with us today, and the conversation is all about cost versus value. What does value, or what does it mean to invest in value? Are you investing in value? Zoe's going to talk about it, and we're excited about the conversation.
Hi, and welcome to Soultiful.
Hello, everybody.
So y'all mean to tell me I was muted?
What up? What up? What up? What
Did
up?
y'all
What
hear
up?
me?
What up? What up? Who was muted? You had
Was I muted?
technical.
Could you hear me in the beginning as I fumbled through
Yes,
the beginning because I didn't know what the
yes,
topic was? Okay. All
yes,
right.
we
Well,
heard
at
all
least
Yes,
that.
y'all heard
yes,
me.
yes. We heard.
All right.
Hi,
Well, well,
Soultiful.
I'm Toya, guys.
I'm Janet.
And I'm Nakia.
And I'm Zokpia.
And we have our beautiful brothers. Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, isn't so giving a little Chadwick Boseman? I can say his last name.
Bozeman.
Bozeman. I mean, the brother is so fine, ain't he? And debonair.
Thank you
Welcome,
so
so
much.
you
Why are you,
welcome. You welcome. Lord rest his
Janet? You
soul.
just you just met him and you already hitting on him, sis. Come on.
She is
Look,
not hitting on him. There's nothing wrong with saying a man is attractive and that being all over him. There's nothing
I
wrong with that.
She said
look here.
it 20 times already, Nakia.
I got
Let it go.
4 eyes. I sees a lot, and I'm just investing in the value. There we go.
Yes,
There we
we
go.
are.
There you go.
Mhm.
Let's see. Okay, don't start with me. What you ladies working on?
I will go first. I am preparing to be on a speaker panel, so I am driving home from getting my hair done. Today was a lot of um, grunt work, so to say. I had to figure out some things for a client and meet with my boss at work, so it's just been busy.
Ooh, can you say grunt work? Oh my
Mm.
gosh. So for me today, I had a live presentation with it's a project me and Toya. Toya allowed me to collaborate on. And y'all know I am very anal about making sure things are right. So I got a little frustrated because I am such a perfectionist. However, it all turned out good in the end. So that was that. I'm also working on a few proposals for some potential clients. And then in addition to that, I am doing some process of some paperwork, some filing and putting up some files. So the hands and the brain have been busy, but not too busy not to find out about the value and cost. Yeah, I'm ready for this whole conversation.
Nice. So I don't know. I feel like Janet, we produced a show today. That is what we did. We produced a show. We used Zoom and we live streamed into a really cool interactive platform. And guys, Mercury is in retrograde, so stuff is gonna happen, and we just gotta keep it moving. And that's exactly what we did. And everyone loved it. The client loved it. We have a couple more days of the event, and so I'm excited. So thank you, Janet, for working on this with me. What about you, Zoe?
Well, I'm working on marketing. Actually, I just got off a call with a company with a young man who is looking to expand the my reach online
Nice.
for my Black businesses, and so I'm working on the business, not necessarily for the business just yet. I still have some client work I want to get done today, but primarily today is marketing.
Very, very good. Nice, nice. And guys out there, we would love to know what you're working on. So please share that with us in the chat.
Whoa, so
Yeah.
everybody's been busy today.
Mm-hmm.
It's been a
Ooh.
really busy day. Is this Monday? Man.
No, it's
No,
Tuesday.
it's Monday B, part B.
Ah, I like
Oh,
that. I like that. I like that. Monday part B. Yeah. But it'd be 5 o'clock soon, so it's drinking time. Well,
Mhm.
if you want to. And it's
if you
Taco Tuesday. So
That's
it's
true.
Taco
And
Tuesday. That That means margaritas, or tequilas, or shots, or liquor. It's something. It's something. It's something. It's something we
Yes.
invest in. Yeah. Okay.
Nice. So again, today's topic is cost versus value. What does it mean to invest in value? We're so grateful that Zoe took time out of his busy Monday B to come talk to us today. So go ahead, Zoe. Go ahead and introduce yourself. Let's get started.
Well, hello everybody. Officially, my name is Zokpia Olumese. My friends and you all do call me Zoe. I am the owner and CEO of Olumese Accounting and Consulting, in which we focus on transforming your business from the inside out through financial management, successful tax seasons, and then doing the fun stuff, business and tax strategy. So, yeah, today, without further ado, we're just going to talk about value and related to cost. This is a thing that I think that this is a topic I think that business owners everywhere have may struggle with, right? Especially as you're a small business owner and you're trying to grow your company. It's kind of difficult to figure out when and where to actually spend your dollars, right? Especially when new opportunities present themselves to you all the time, especially in new systems or marketing efforts and even employees and contractors and things like that. So I thought it was an important topic to talk about, so that we are actually growing and not just talking about growing, right? This is I can't see anybody. Am I just talking to myself?
No, no, no.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I wanted it to be a candid conversation, ask some questions as
Nice.
we go. So I need to be able to see you all.
Okay. So of course,
No problems.
my first thing is, in the aspect of business, what would be your definition of invest and what would be value? Because they have their own definition in correlation with other things, but
Mhm.
we are speaking specifically about business here. So how would you say what would be invest and what would be in value, and how would that apply to our businesses?
All right, so Janet, I'm going to throw in one more word to define thoroughly so that we understand that. I'm going to say cost,
Okay, I'm ready to
right?
catch, because like in football, you gotta be able to catch it. Yeah, I'm ready. I'm ready.
Absolutely. So cost. So we're going to first, when I think about value, how I define that really is we all understand it's like the fair return for goods and services, the fair exchange of those things. Value in my eyes is when the price of that thing that is offered is actually it's actually less than the good or service that's actually offered. So it's valuable to you if you pay for it, but what it gives you in return is greater than actually the cost, right? And
We
Okay.
then
can relate. We can relate that to our small businesses in that we provide value to our clients.
yes, correct. And so that's kind of where the premise of the title is, right? Cost is the direct inversion of that. When the expense that you make is actually greater than the value that is returned to you, and that's why we say, it's a cost, right? It's even a mental thing. Whenever something is not giving you what you hope it for, you call it, you say it's a cost to you. You identify it as an expense. But then when something is like beneficial to you and is bringing you more than you're paying for, the business owner is more quickly and will more easily identify as an investment. And that's where that word is that you want us to define. That investment is understanding that I'm putting in money into here because I expect it to bring me something in return. It is a valuable investment if my return is greater than my cost. It is a costly investment if my costs are greater than my return. Does that make sense?
Sure, that makes great sense. So when as a small business owner, and when we are thinking about our businesses,
Yeah.
we should think from the standpoint that the things that we're investing in our business enhances us, which enhances our value to give to the customers to return. So it's like one kind of quantifies the other. Would you think?
Yeah, and I would agree. And that's kind of the whole idea of the topic, right? Is the fact that you got to understand that your business is always investing. It's very starkly different to you who spends on a personal level, right? And that's where the business owner may find some struggle or tension. They think of the business expenses or spending as a business like they spend on themselves. Typically, when you spend on yourself, you're not really looking for the return. The return shows up and it shows itself in like in the form of satisfaction, maybe some sweets, nice food, a good time. But the business doesn't just spend frivolously like that. Not that you're spending it frivolous, but the business is spending at all times with the intention of investing, of getting that return. And so when you spend on a new software, or when you spend on marketing, or when you spend on a customer, or even when you buy a client some meals, your intention is always to receive some type of return, eventual or immediate. And that is really what separates you and your business. And that's really why I say that businesses are always investing. Every expense ought to be an investment by the business.
Okay, that's great
Yeah.
food for thought. And it would you say that some investments take priority over others depending upon the business? So
Yeah.
we
Yeah.
are virtual professionals. Our priority may be with investing is one, marketing, because we have to market to
Yeah.
find clients. Some people believe in having a coach.
Mm-hmm.
Some people believe in having an establishment. I mean, many of us work from home, but
Mm-hmm.
for me particularly right now, my investments is a good software. Well, software when I mean by laptop, and then I have to make sure that I have the best
Mm-hmm.
CRM systems and
Mm-hmm.
things to execute. Then my next investment for me would be marketing.
Mm-hmm.
Then my next investment might be a coach. So would you say that the investments are particularly according to the business and they should line up in a priority that will make you exceed the value to give to your customers?
Yeah, and there are some hard things I would define as I would put at the top of the list of that priority list, and you kind of mentioned those things, the very things that may help you to earn dollars now. That's how I see it, and that's how some of you, even my mentors, have mentioned it. What can you buy now that helps you to earn income now? Now, there, depending on what your business industry is and what your goals are, that may not be the best. That may not be the most priority item to purchase, like those physical items. You may need a coach at the beginning because your business is so highly technical or so, right? So I spent how many years going to school and getting my CPA. At that time, I wasn't technically in business making any money, but I wouldn't trade that time for purchasing a CRM in that way, if that makes sense. um so it's gonna be business owner specific about where you put your dollars in first. But if you're kind of set with the educational piece and all that, I think that the most priority thing that you can buy are those things that directly help you provide the actual service that you're going to provide to your clients.
Okay.
So would you say that, oh, I'm sorry, Nakia, go ahead.
I was going to ask, most people, when they're trying to counsel you on business setup financially, they,
Uh-huh.
they come up with this pie, and the percentage of this needs to go to taxes, and this
Yeah.
to investments, and this should go to this, and this should go to that. Are you saying maybe we shouldn't go to traditional investments, and we should invest in our services and the things that are going to make us money first?
Well, if you're in business, right? So this is how I like to see it. Like the success of your business is going to be based on like how you're able to manage the cash flow of the company, right? At the initial stage of the company, all the cash that the company has is your initial investment. So you have to figure out, okay, the initial investment is a finite number. So what am I going to do with this finite number to fulfill the purpose of the business, which is to generate revenue, get a profit. So I could use some of that to invest in my retirement and maybe use it for some personal things. However, it's probably better to figure out how can I multiply this initial investment so that the business becomes a little bit more sustainable. And so, yes, so that pie chart, uh, I'll probably just prioritize those things that directly help me to make money early on, instead of just things that may not bring that return. And that's probably and this kind of what I actually want to use that to kind of segue into this story of one of my clients about affordability. Right? You have a limited amount of cash as your initial investment, but you're like, what do I actually spend it on? And can I actually afford anything? I had this one client who essentially was trying to figure out, can I afford another professional to help me do consulting services to help improve my business. In his mind, he was like, I don't think I can really afford it. I've never spent that much to, let's say he's spending 500 in a month for this professional to service him. And he's like, I don't really know I can afford it. I don't really spend that much on hiring out or someone else to do some work. And what I asked him first, can I just be real honest with you? And he said, yeah, be honest with me. And I was saying, from my perspective, I think you can definitely afford it. And then my next question to him was, how do you actually determine whether or not you can afford something? And he said, yeah, that's a good question. Well, I just think it's because, I don't spend that much. And then I said, can I share with you how I determine whether or not I can afford something? And he said, okay, and from a business perspective, I explained to him the difference between spending that business is always investing when they spend, and you on your personal side are not really expecting returns all the time. And I said, okay, so this cost for this professional is going to cost you $500 a month, right? If we prorate that 500 to the entire year, you're essentially going to pay in about $6,000 a year. Let's look at your bank account. You have well over six figures in your bank account, right? You can actually pay for a professional to service you the entire year without even batting an eye right now. Secondly, here's your financial statements that we put together. On a monthly basis, you're bringing well over 500 a month. You're actually bringing in about 3,000 to 6,000 in a month. And it's like, okay, 3,000 to 6,000. You actually can pay that person 6 to 10 times over within 1 month to perform the service. And then the third piece is that this professional, their intention is to increase your revenue. So not only can you afford them currently right now, even for the entire rest of the year, but anything that they make you above the cost that you're incurring, that $6,000 a year, is going to be exponentially beneficial for you. When you already can cover the 6,000 in the whole year. So let's say now you have a measurable goal to determine whether or not their value is worth it. If in a year's time after you've hired them, they've brought you in $6,001, then that person you can afford, and that person has brought you some value and hasn't been a cost to you.
Yes.
Does that make sense?
Yes, definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely. Anybody have any questions?
So would you say that in our pie chart of developing priority, we should probably do like maybe educational, operational, planning, marketing. Well, I guess marketing could fall into operational, or maybe operational is more the mechanics. And then would you suggest that we put together some type of pie chart in that retrospect in order for us to know what we should be investing in and what we should be preparing for as a business owner?
Well, I don't know about I guess a pie chart could assist, but a to-do list that is organized by priority, or a list of things to purchase. And for me, how I think about what is most valuable to purchase are really those things is operational. Sometimes I'll ask my clients, I say, my clients who have been in business or who are starting a company, I say, okay, there's two ways you can do it. You can go and market and say, tell the whole world that you're able to offer a service, or you can prepare for the whole world to offer the whole world a service without actually telling the whole world. And so there's a happy medium between those two things, marketing and operations, right? And so one of the questions I ask my consulting clients is that, let's say tomorrow the entire world said that they wanted to come and they wanted to purchase your service or your product. Could you accommodate for them? And oftentimes it's like, no. If 100 people came to me today, my infrastructure, the systems that I have running in place, I wouldn't be able to offer them the highest value of service that I can efficiently. And also goes the opposite way. If you've built this full system of things to do and how to make a process and offer the best valuable service, but does anybody even know about it or know about you to even do so? So it really takes some it takes some it just takes the business owner or the company manager to basically to think about those two things and come up with the best list of priorities that make sense. Perhaps you've received a lot of funding at the early stages of your company, and so you don't actually you're not strapped for cash early on. You might spend more time building the infrastructure and increasing the quality of the operations before you actually go to marketing. But perhaps you don't have that much money that you use to start the business. Then at that point, I would say, all right, buy the essentials: my computer, my desktop, and the software, and then begin marketing so that somebody can come to the door to help offset some of those costs that you are incurring.
Yes, most of us bootstrap.
Yeah, yeah. And then when you bootstrapping, that's where that pie chart comes into play. You're like, okay, these are and this is what I like to do for my business and for other companies. I say, these are my essential costs, my very, very essential costs. If I can't pay for these, then I can't actually technically run my business efficiently. And so now that sets my target goal for the month. It says, okay, my overhead costs are $600. All I got to do is make $600 this month, and I could rest easy and say I'm still in business, right? So that gives you now a KPI, something to target. And then once you get your first client that actually pays you more than 600, and you are able to generate 1,000, now you're saying, okay, I got $400 of wiggle room. What am I gonna do with that $400? I could take it out and go for a nice little trip somewhere, or you can say, all right, out of this 400, I'm going to take some to marketing. I think I can handle maybe 10 more clients. So how about majority of that go to marketing so I can grab those clients? The next month you might have made 1,000 more. And so okay, maybe I can maintain the same marketing budget that I did last month, but now use the rest of the discretionary funds and improve my processes. Okay, now you've increased your clientele and your processes. And now let's say now you have $2,000 of a discretionary fund. You might think oh wow, okay, if I can bring in more clients, I have a system in place. This business can really take off, but I need help. And you're like, okay, I only got 2,000. Can I actually afford somebody to help? The misconception that I even fell to is the fact that you need to think that you think you have to hire somebody full time essentially to be able to have some help in your business. And that's really where the business owner may have a misconception in mind that holds them back in a sense. So that 2,000 of discretionary income, you can say, okay, if I hire somebody at $25 an hour, um, how much of the work that I currently do can they take over, which will free me up to actually do maybe some more marketing to increase the revenue? How much how much how much would their service actually I guess some bringing somebody on to take on a responsibility, how valuable that is? And then you might find out of that 2,000 you only paid that person 500 in a month. And so now you're like, okay, I have less stress and less responsibility. Somebody else is managing it for me, and I also have now 1,500 of excess money I can use. You almost can rinse and repeat those last 3 months or so,
Right.
until you start scaling. And then each time you bring an hourly employee, you start building a company. And then when you start really bringing in some more work, now the hourly employee converts to a full time, or you find a full time employee, and boom.
Great.
Awesome. So I wanted to shout out and thank you again for our viewers. We got some folks watching on YouTube and on Facebook. So thanks for joining us, guys. If you have
Mhm.
any questions for Zoe, please put them in the chat. As you can see, wealth of information. This young man knows what he's talking about.
Mhm.
So with that being said, so I like to understand people's backgrounds. Like you are very articulate. You know exactly what you're talking about. Where's this coming from? Tell us a little bit about your background and why you got into what made you get into this type of work.
Well, this is coming from experience. So So my background is in accounting, right? My undergrad, I studied undergrad accounting at North Carolina A&T for my undergrad, and then I got my master's in accounting at Michigan State University. Soon after that, I earned my CPA about 2 years after I started working, and I started my career working as an auditor, public auditor, with Deloitte. And so, really, where the product of what you're seeing is kind of it started back in 2016, when I kind of had the strong desire to not be in corporate America for the rest of my life. Right.
Mm.
I realized that what I actually wanted out of life was to become an investor, and not just a investor on the side, but a full-time investor. And so once that realization came to me in 2016, I began starting to take note of everything around me. I had the unique opportunity of working with Deloitte, working with a lot of different companies, seeing their accounting departments and how they function from the inside out. So I had a lot of insight into what makes them tick, what makes them run. And then it wasn't after I left Deloitte, 3 years later, that I got to work in the private sector within a private company and see the other side of things, like how
Mhm.
things actually work from the inside and not from the eyes of an auditor or an
Mhm.
external auditor. And so when I put those two things together, along with my desire to really be an investor, which I knew was going to be paved, that journey was going to lead me to some entrepreneurial, um, milestone. In this case, is an accounting company. It kind of just was like a perfect storm of things.
Mhm.
My interest of being an investor, my experience as an auditor, my experience being in a company as their real estate accountant, and me not really being satisfied with where I was. And so I guess that's how it really is. And I think at the core of my nature, I'm kind of a learner. So I like to learn a lot of different things, and implement them quickly. And so when I started learning how to build a company, it was like, oh, this makes sense. This piece goes to right here. This piece goes here. And then when I talk to other professionals, or other business owners who are doing wonderful things, I ask them, "What's your secret?" I add their sauce to my sauce, and then it's kind of just moving along. And so I've been out here as an entrepreneur for this is my third year, and
Congrats.
I appreciate it. Thank you. It's been successful so far. I've been able to sustain myself, and I'm further along my investment journey than I would have expected.
Great. Great. I'm not familiar with investing. I know I need to. I have a 401k, and that does well. I move things around in there, but I know that's not real investing.
Do you own? Are you your owner of Soultiful?
Yes, of course. I
You're investing. You're investing.
am cool.
That's direct investing. You're investing in something to increase value and to bring a return to you.
Yes.
It's no different from if
Mm.
you weren't even in the office and you just said you gave them your money to run the company. It's just how you look at it.
Cool. That's a good way of looking at it.
It is, and absolutely it's an investment. So one thing that you said that I really liked is that in these different corporations that you worked in, you learned, you looked and you learned. You didn't do like a lot of us just say, "Oh, I hate my job. I can't wait to get out.
Mhm.
I'm gonna quit as soon as I can so I can be an entrepreneur." you intuitive to know enough to know that you needed to learn, and you were in an environment that you could learn. So I love that you did that. And to our viewers, I want you to just take note, because I can remember when I became a full-time entrepreneur. I wish I would have looked a little bit more into the companies I worked in, and
Mhm.
found out how they exactly do what they do. My thing, Zoe, was like, I'm so tired of corporate. I don't want to be a part of corporate anymore. But now
Yeah,
that I'm getting further along my business, I need all those strategies and all that the
yeah,
corporations are doing. I'm trying to learn them now. So that's good.
yeah. They can be really helpful where you, if you just look around where you're currently at in your circumstance.
Mm-hmm.
Because so corporate America gets a bad rap at times because we're entrepreneurs and we're like, oh, screw the man, we don't want to work for the man or so. But
Exactly.
the man has been doing this for centuries, building companies, and so they have something. They're doing a lot of things right and correct, and there's a reason why they do some of those things. And so, if anyone is kind of still in corporate America, working a job, and maybe started their business on the side or looking to go full time, my advice would be to take note of all the systems and processes that your current company does. Because believe it or not, a lot of processes and systems that one company uses is directly applicable to what you are doing or what other companies do,
Yeah.
right? For example, every company uses Gmail or some email software or
Mm-hmm.
some CRM software to manage their clients. And so that's adaptable to any business. So you can just take note of what they do. Then also take note of who is actually there and what they do, for what role do they play for the overall functioning of that company, of where you're at. The quicker you take note and you write it down and try to implement it, the faster you can leave.
That's interesting because I do still work. I love my job. But I am learning, and my job affords me the opportunity to learn different things that I take on
Right.
into my business. So I do appreciate that advice. I
Yeah.
appreciate that advice.
As well as additional income to
That part, that's a source of income
subsidy income. Yeah. Yeah.
for
Yes,
sure.
that's how I'm bootstrapping. That's how I'm bootstrapping.
Hmm.
So, Zoe, you're investing. Are you mentioned real estate? You work with realtors or real estate folks?
Yeah, yeah. So that's how I'm bootstrapping, right? Through
Okay.
investing, right? When I was working, and I decided I wanted to be an investor, one of the very first things I did was extreme saving. I was saving like
Hmm.
90% of my check, and
Ooh,
That's
then
awesome.
two, I
That's a clap right there, bro. Woo! Awesome.
And then two, I was planning on buying a house, not just a
Nice.
house to stay in, but really a rental property, my first. And so within a year of working, I was able to purchase my first rental property, which I house hacked and rented out most of the rooms in my house while I stayed there.
Nice.
And so to this day, it's providing me income and kind of paying for itself. And so it when I started my journey as a with my accounting firm, it afforded me, that leeway, or that subsidy to be able to afford my expenses. Right now, my goals weren't how can I make my business. My goal wasn't can my business make 2-3 thousand in a month in the first month of business. No, it was like, can my business make a couple hundred or so? And so it made all the worlds of difference. And now I'm actually on my second property, and my first
Oh,
property is a full rental. And I own the second property with my wife. So we're trying to investing in real estate is definitely going to be a bit larger part of my portfolio, and it will grow as this accounting company grows too.
So I have a question.
amazing.
I have been hearing about cryptocurrency and all these things.
Mhm.
My daughter is in like some kind of club where they are trading. Um,
Yeah.
are those things fads, or are those things something we should be paying attention to?
I would say it's definitely something you should be paying attention to. Even if you're not even invested into them directly, you want to pay attention to them because all of the big players in the nation are in the world are actually paying attention to large companies, even the United States government. They're building out policies and regulations around all of cryptocurrency, and they are even considering making their own government cryptocurrency. It's still a little weird for me. However, sometimes the best investments are those that you're not expecting to blow up. So I would say, personally, I just threw in a little bit of money here and there that I have from it, just to say I had my toe in it, so that when my grandchildren come, I wouldn't be the one saying I could have.
I know.
I could have, because I hear those stories from people who could have invested in Apple and the internet, the bubble.com bubble.
Yeah.
I don't want to do that again.
Yeah. I have a question again. Those little softwares like Robin, I think it's called
Yeah,
Robinhood or Acorn or something like that. Um,
yeah.
are
I
those
use Acorn.
are those good to learn and invest, or should we really find an investment planner that helps us?
Well, it honestly depends on what you might be comfortable with, right? I would probably think that the millennials and the younger generations are find it much easier to use like Robinhood and Acorn and those app-based investment platforms. And then they may see like the Charles Schwab's and what are the other ones? Those other larger companies as a little bit intimidating, even though now you see those larger companies kind of doing the same, offering those convenient features that only those apps used to offer.
Yeah.
I remember in 2017, I think it was 2017, that's when I started on Robinhood
Mhm.
before it became Robinhood, this magical app. All of the larger players from the investment platforms, they weren't offering like um, what is it, commission free trades and
Mhm.
things like that. But Robinhood kind of pioneered that way, and so it's I would say they're both the newer apps, Robinhood, Webull, Acorn, they're becoming more robust where you can trust them. Certainly, you definitely can trust them for the most part. And they're inspiring the older, long-standing companies to innovate and become a little bit more malleable for the newer generation coming up. So I wouldn't. I say both. I use them all. So
Yeah. Yeah, we have Merrill Lynch, I think it's called, and
yeah.
constantly doing little webinars to teach us stuff and
Mhm.
send us newsletters and things like that to make it more personable.
Yeah.
So I appreciate that because I
Yeah.
don't think I want to go to Robinhood.
Yeah, yeah. Those ones definitely, like Merrill Lynch likely has what is it, portfolio managers or people who can actually talk to you about how to do your investments. Robinhood, Webull, and all those are kind of, you have to do it yourself. It's more like bare bones. You invest, you do the study. I don't think they really have like management.
Okay.
Yeah.
So on the
So
same
go ahead.
conversation, because I was going to ask this question, how do you feel about the use of Cash App? Because some people use Cash App for their business, but then Cash App also has its own investment features. How
Hmm.
do you feel about that, on that aspect of the investment features?
So this one is it's it can be
Yeah,
right.
go on and say it can be
So
tricky.
yeah, it can be tricky. Why? Because Cash App, Venmo, even Zelle, so convenient. Right? You send money, it just goes, and you don't even have to really think about it. Right? That convenience, um, that convenience puts business owners at risk sometimes,
Mhm.
from commingling a lot of their funds and not really being able to keep the appropriate records. Some
Mhm.
people, and it also makes people, it incentivizes people to not really use a business version of those apps, right? They say those apps, if you switch over to the business version, you're going to be paying processing fees. And some people like, I don't need to pay processing fees. So I'm just going to stay on the personal version,
Mhm.
right? But those personal versions don't really connect to your business accounts,
Mhm.
which is where you need to be doing all of your business transactions, your bank accounts,
Mhm.
right? And so they're good, and it can be good when you're small, but once you start hitting those those high volume, high dollar amount transactions, your accounts are going to be flagged, and you're essentially going to be forced to convert over to a business account. It also doesn't make your accounting very beautiful in my eyes. It doesn't really connect to, you can't even, it doesn't even allow you to do like credit card payments and sending invoices. And at this stage of the game, those platforms kind of feel a little bit, I'm sorry to say, unprofessional a bit.
Thank you.
Okay.
Ooh, that's all she needed to hear. That was unprofessional.
I do find it unprofessional. I went to get my tattoo and he was like, "Can you cash out me the money?" I'm like, "You
Yeah.
the money?"
Yeah.
Like, no.
I use my Cash App for two things. Well, yeah, two things. There's a client that I have that it's just easier for them to send it to
Mm-hmm.
me into Cash App. However, I put the notes in it, but then I then transfer it to my main hub of where my financial
Mm-hmm.
resources come in. And then I use my Cash App card when I go to business places, and
Yeah.
I'm not, like, say if I travel a lot with my clients. So if I go to eat, I
Yeah.
use my Cash App card as what we gonna eat on, buy me a cup of coffee,
Mm-hmm.
etc., etc. That way I don't have to use my true business banking card unless I'm making like a major purpose. I'm going to, Best Buy, and I'm gonna buy something or something
Yeah.
like that. I use that for the food and the miscellaneous monies.
Yeah, you can certainly repurpose and use it how it fits, if it's best fits your business processes. Um, it's just that you just got to make sure you're keeping the right accounting. And like you said, as long as you're documenting and then you converting to your accounting software, it is fine. It's not should be, it is fine. It just might be a little bit more manual effort on your part. Um, yeah.
I agree with Zoe. It's manual, and you don't want to process large sums of money because you will be flagged. I've definitely seen
Hmm.
that. So I'm with you. We have a comment here from Perry. Who knows Perry? Y'all know
I know
Perry?
Perry.
Hey Perry.
Yeah,
Thanks for
that's my
joining us
track coach.
today. Okay. Very difficult to build portfolios with Robinhood and Cash App. You can't monitor costs either.
Hmm.
Thank you,
Yeah,
Perry.
yeah. So that makes sense because the larger investment companies put more into giving you analysis. Their analysis are definitely much more detailed, and you can actually see the fees that you're doing. But Robinhood tries to be very simple, user friendly, basic. So the learning curve is definitely less, not as steep as those other ones. But you can't really do as much complex investing as you can with the other ones.
I
Makes
have a
sense.
question. I know Robinhood allows you to buy a part of a stock. Is
Hmm.
that, as long as you're investing, is that the best way to go, or is it more prudent to buy a whole piece of stock? If that makes sense.
I actually saw this feature starting to pop up on other platforms after I heard about it at Robinhood initially. I don't know if it was always a commercially offered option for investment platforms. However, I would say that fractional share investing is probably the best way to maintain the diversification of your portfolio, right? Why buy something? Why be forced to buy the full amount if you can just buy a portion based on portion and then manage what you can actually afford, right? It just helps you to maintain the balance in your portfolio, and I think is much better.
That's cool. Cool.
All right, I'm gonna try to get a question in before Nakia asks another one. So
Ooh, was that shade?
no, man,
Oh,
can I
was
get
that
something in?
on me?
I
Was
met
that
him first. Okay,
um
so
I was
so my
complimenting the brother, and you gonna come back with I met him first. All right, I see. We need a pie.
oh goodness. So Zoe, thank you again. This has been just awesome information. So I'm interested in your young brother. You have a couple investment properties. My brother's the same
Mhm.
way. He bought 5 houses during the pandemic, and I just think that's amazing.
Wow.
Yeah, and so I wanted to know how in the world, because that's unheard of for me, how did you save 90% of your money? Like, how did you do that? How do kids like? How do you? What do you recommend? So people can get in that game like you did early on.
Okay. So I'll give you one piece, how I did it. One is very unique to me, and everybody can't fall in that same category. And then two is a strategy that I like to give to my my financial coaching clients, who may need some help just managing their funds. The first piece is it started all the way back in high school. Um, I got a scholarship to school by getting good grades and doing my best, and by doing my best, and then the Lord blessed me with a scholarship. So I graduated undergrad and graduate school without any student loans. So that kind of put me that put me ahead
Woo!
in a,
I
in a
can't
way
with
that,
you. Woo! Yes, that is amazing.
yeah.
Hallelujah.
Amazing.
Yeah, praise God. So yeah, it put me ahead in a way that a lot of people aren't able to. And so if your child is young and you are young and you're able to gain scholarships, get some scholarships to reduce your debt, because that's going to put you further ahead than you can. It's going to allow you to chase after your goals much more readily than it would otherwise. The second thing is a strategy I came up with when I was interning during my internships over the gap summers, between summers when I was in college. I would essentially take my full check. Let's say it was 1,000 in that. What were they paying us then? 1,000 in the month or so, and I would say, okay, no, let's say it was 800 or something during the 2 week period. I would say, all right, in that 800, what do I gotta spend? I gotta eat. I gotta live, and I gotta bathe essentially. So I said these are the critical things I gotta do. And then I said, all right, I'm setting my bi-weekly budget to $200. And I said, all right, I'm only gonna spend $200 on everything I need for 2 weeks. And so by the next 2 weeks that came by, I got my second paycheck of 800, and then 200, and then in that 200 budget I had, I realized I only spent maybe $100 of it, and then I was like, okay, I got $100 that I saved. And conventional thinking would say, all right, take that 100 and allow over and make it overflow to the next month. But I said, nah, I'm gonna reset my 200 and just and then maybe give myself 100 and get back to 200. And so now all the money was going to savings, and I was only living off that 200. Fast forward, through the summer, I did that for 8 weeks in the summer, living off of 200 every 2 weeks, kind of playing that game. Anything that I didn't spend outside of 200 was diverted right back into savings. And then I added a goal at the end of the summer that I was going to go on a shopping spree of like $1,000. And so two things happened there. It helped me build the habits of living frugally on just a little bit, and then two, it allowed me to set a goal to attain. And so I started thinking of it as like a game. And so when I got out of school, that mentality kind of carried itself forward. Though there were a lot more expenses to pay for when you're out of school, but when I had that amount, this is the amount I'm going to spend. And if my amount started to go low, I would say, sorry, I can't go to that birthday dinner, or sorry, I'm not going to that movies, or or sorry, I'm not going to buy a snack on my way home today, because I'm not trying to go below. So it was like a game. And then every month or every pay period, you see your savings go up, you reset your budget or so. You're like, okay, now, and the less you spend, the more your savings go up. So now you're like, yeah, now the game became super extreme, where the whole month or the whole week, I'm like, okay, I spent $5 this week, which is unheard of, right? How do you only spend $5? Is you stay in your house and you enjoy what is free, and then you use coupons and you get cash back rewards. You spend other people's money, and yeah, so that's how I did it, and it led to me buying a house.
That's great. Yeah, my
Congratulations. That's
financial coach
amazing.
has
So
said some things like that.
Nice. So now that
Well,
you're
I guess
married,
I got to go
married,
back
does
to
your wife
birth
allow you to
and
play
put on
such games?
Pampers and start my life all over again because that was not my story. Okay.
No, no,
That ain't my story.
no, you can start that.
I'm learning.
The strategy can happen at any point. It's just the same thing with the business.
Hey.
What are your overhead costs that you can't do away without? And then what are your variable costs? And those variable costs are the things that you can say, okay, if I just not don't do this, then my savings will increase like this. And then you set yourself a goal and say, all right, I want to buy a house. And so now it's just a matter of you exercising some level of discipline, and then falling in love with the process or that game.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's what I see. Falling in love with it, being excited about it.
I'll think about
Yeah.
that, Zoe. I'm not going to make any promises. And now you ask me something else, I might be able to promise. But that,
I have to get over my seafood habit first.
oh, you got to get over seafood, DoorDash. Oh,
Why
I'm
you
sorry. Am
telling
I
her
saying
stuff
all your business?
online?
Hey, don't you
Ooh.
talk.
I'm not ashamed. I know I spend it.
Don't you talk. You got 6
That's why I
kids.
have a finance coach.
You got 6 kids. We know what your activity is. Yeah.
Six. Wow.
Well,
Yeah.
Nico, we want to shout out to Nico. Thanks for joining us. She's on part
Mm-hmm.
of the home team. Who's Nico?
That is my brother.
Oh, okay, Nico.
Yeah,
Thanks for joining us and
my
engaging.
my
We're so
my
glad that you
brother.
made it.
Shout out to my brother. He's in Arizona. He's an investor too.
Nice.
Oh,
He
I
works
was
in
just in
mortgages.
Arizona. I should have known he was there. I'd have told him, come help me with my finances.
Yeah, he's an investor. He runs a business on the side and also does a mortgage. I guess I don't know if it's mortgage consulting with Wells Fargo, but we're all on the
Nice.
same wavelength.
Yes, Wells Fargo is the bank. I've had Wells. How old is my daughter? 26,
Lord have mercy.
28. Yeah, I've had Wells Fargo since her birth. I love Wells Fargo. I loved them when they was Wachovia. I
Mm-hmm.
love them when they yeah. I do. I'm sorry. I do not like Bank of America.
Me neither.
You
I'm
know,
a
I feel
Wachovia
like
Wells Fargo.
I feel like we need to interview your parents next because y'all are really sound and solid dudes. So
No, certainly,
yes,
certainly. My mom has a lot of wisdom. She would, yeah,
I
she's
I knew
taught
it.
us so much through experiences. She's actually
Amazing.
a CPA too, a practicing CPA.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Mm. Okay, so I know this is
Very nice. Wow, that is amazing.
this is part of the investment in value. What
Mm-hmm.
does your name mean?
Oh yeah. Wow. Yeah. My full name is Zokpia, or in the accent is Zokpia. It means a child becomes a man.
Wow.
And a very great man.
Ooh,
Very
well,
great man.
amen.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm
That's
working on
right.
it,
Love it.
becoming greater and greater.
That's right. That's right.
You're
Okay.
doing
Yeah.
it. That
See?
is amazing.
And see, I was right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was right. I don't know. Tell them again that I'm always right. They need to listen to me.
As long as you believe that, cuz, as long as you believe that. All right, real quickly, guys, we're going to shout out to our sponsor. And then, Zoe, we want you to come back with your final word. We don't
Absolutely.
have a commercial, Nakia, but we do have Go Kiss That Social,
Okay, go
VSP.
get my social. DSP is the virtual service provider branch of our social media scheduling platform that we have. It is where we are a virtual provider for businesses. We provide other virtual assistants. We're an agency and we love to help out.
Yes. Very good. Thank you. All right, Zoe. Final words, dear brother.
Well, hey everybody, my final words to you are this. I wrote it down. Is not seeing value and clenching your money in fear will only hold your growth back. Companies spend money to make money, and if you're scared to invest in value, you're only limiting yourself.
I'm gonna have to write that down so I can
Oh
start
my
writing it.
gosh, let
My
me tell you.
God.
I know we only have a few
Woo!
minutes left, but let me tell
I
you,
know he preached too.
my pastor talks about that, about clenching your money in fair and not spending your money or acting like money is never gonna be there
Yeah.
Oh, oh, yeah. See, so you are right on the line with my pastor, and that is a message for me personally. Thank you, Miss Olumese. You
No
raised a
problem.
wonderful son. He came in and confirmed some things
Yes, you
to
did.
Sugar Mama over here. Yeah, yes, with his Chad fine self looking. All right, yeah, okay, all
Look
right.
at her. All the young boys. Lord have mercy. All right. Well,
I
guys, if
can
you will please
say as
like,
long as I don't act.
Okay.
please like, comment, and subscribe to Soultiful. Again, Zoe, thank you so much. And I think we would love to have you come back at some point when you're ready.
Oh,
And that's
certainly.
all. Have a wonderful day. Awesome.
He
Yeah.
should come
See
back
y'all
Thank
for
you
next
for
first
having
Tuesday.
me.
quarter. You should come back
Oh, that
for
would be
first
good,
quarter to
actually.
set us on a planning trend for the
Oh,
year.
yeah. Yeah, that'd be wonderful.
See what I'm talking about, Zoe? You see?
Bye,
Yeah,
y'all. Have a good one.
Bye bye.
Hi, and welcome to Soultiful.